Hi, and welcome to this talkthrough of the fantastic space opera Dragon Eyes, released by game Technopolis in 1991. So just quickly, what I'm going to be doing, because the game is very long and the command menu system difficult to follow, is talking you through the game mostly scene by scene, so you can follow and know what's happening in the story and see the CGs as well in a fraction of the time, and hopefully that'll still be a good experience. And if you want to delve deeper into the text, then the full walkthrough is just a click away. So let's get to it. As the story opens, we meet our hero Ines, whilst bathing of course, and she receives a distress call from her mother Galdria on Galdria. Her brother-in-law Clind has gone missing, so Ines promises to go meet her right away. We start the game in the aircraft hangar on the planet Miwi, a former defensive satellite but now an artificial home, where Ines has grown up because of her weak constitution and inability to accept the atmosphere on Galdria. There's little that needs to be done or said, we just get in the ship and off she goes, accompanied by her alien unicorn friend Gia, which incidentally you'll often see mistranslated throughout the game as the air. We meet Pian the maid, but she's just a side character with not much to say, and she lets Ines through. So, it's off to the Imperial Palace to meet with her mum and dad, Emperor Kaiser and Galdria, for a slightly exposition heavy scene. We learn that Clind has been off travelling to try and discover something. He's gone missing. Particularly troubling because he's the third troubled succession to the throne after the deaths of the previous kings. There's tension about Clind taking the throne. Clind doesn't really want to, and anyway Ines is so beautiful that everyone loves her, and they nickname her the Living Jewel. Her parents want her desperately to come back home to Galdria. Right, we're off to the city Lang looking for Clind's friend Sol. Ines meets Selena, Sol's landlord and a widow. Eventually she lets her in to see Sol. We learn a little about him, that he's into space navigation and also he's into landlord Selena. He tells Ines that Sol has discovered a way of processing Chiritanium ore found in their solar system that will help them build super strong warships. All good information, but a bit of a dead end. Only wait. He remembers that as Clind's spaceship disappears, there was another ship visible on the radar, and maybe if they can find this ship, That will be a clue. After going back and updating the parents, Ines decides to go to the coffee shop at the shuttleport for a think. She realises that there was no evidence of Clind's ship disappearing, and that this could be due to psionics. Psi users have to be registered, but she surmises that if this person were artificially made a Psi user, then maybe they weren't. Ines's parents tell her she should go visit the seer in the City of Eternal Mist, but to do this she needs first to get the consent of Lagona's ruler. Go to the spaceport on Miwi and get in the Girandole 2, which has an engine that will take us to the Psi solar system, i.e. the next section of the game. The people of Lagona are not actually that friendly towards the Galdrians, but Ines is allowed to go see the Regent Diablo and the Prince Dolzio. They turn out to be not too difficult to convince to awaken the seer though, so Ines flies off to the City of Eternal Mist, but not before finding out that a mysterious fast ship had landed on the planet recently. Ines speculates that something might be rotten with the Regency in Lagona. Ines meets Eterna, who has just awoken. After a nice cup of herbal tea and a chit-chat, Eterna agrees to help. The seer tells Ines not about Clind, but instead a prophecy about a wandering star. A star that passes through the solar system every 2 centuries, that will help, she says, a friend leave their shell and make their dreams come true. She doesn't know who this friend is, since there's only Unicorn Gia. As a saucy aside over another cup of herbal tea, Maid Yem says that she has to wake Eterna every month for what appears to be a bit of hanky-panky. Ines is a bit confused, but intrigued by all this talk. Ines stops off at the planet Muruk, a rather barren place used largely for the forced immigration of people who were thrown off twin planets Starry and Quilty, planets which were frozen for their resources. And she also has a little reminisce about her brother. Back to the City of Eternal Mist, Yem gives Ines a couple of spells that apparently they forgot about last time. A spell of guidance in case she loses her way, and a braking spell, useful for slowing down really fast migratory stars. These are going to turn out to be pretty damn useful. Back to Muruk for the game's first big encounter. Just as she remembers something else about the past, that Ines and her brother were attacked by some supposedly friendly native creatures, potterfurs, and a woman with a 3-eyed cat. But who should appear but that same woman, Jeris. She threatens Ines, but doesn't explain why, and Ines only manages to escape when Gia defends her, slamming Jeris against a rock and knocking her unconscious. After she gets away, we catch up on Ines again bathing because, you know, it's important we know she's clean. She ponders that Clind was originally the heir to Lagona, and this would have been good for the solar system. She also realises that from the look in her eyes that Jeris's resentment towards her was personal. She wasn't a paid mercenary. And lo, it turns out that Lagona now has severed ties with Galdria, and they are claiming the disappearance of Clind as the reason. Things are escalating. It's back to Galdria, and Kaiser assigns Ines an elite personal guard to protect her until this crisis is resolved. Her name is Flicker, which means girl in one of the ancient languages. They're soon off together to explore the solar system and find the wandering star, and Flicker soon reveals she's got the hots for Ines sexually, although not romantically, which is convenient because the horny dads have paid for this type of thing. After some quick girl-on-girl action under the guise of teaching Ines about the world, Ines is back to Lagona to try and broker peace, but Diablo is accusing Ines of staging a fake kidnapping of Clind herself. The bare-faced cheek of it! And who else turns up? Cat Lady Jeris. She's Princess of Quilty, one of the frozen planets, and she's backing up Lagona's claims. Damn it! And to make things more complicated, Lagona are also promising to thaw the frozen resource planets, which is kinda not their right to do. Jeris is understandably angry though, her planet was frozen by the Federation after all. So things are tense politically and war looms on the horizon. Only one thing to do. After travelling to the twin planets and having a short discussion about the nature of revenge, love and their futures, Ines casts a spell to find the migratory star, which duly turns up, and turns out to be a sort of alien ship thing, and they travel down wondering what alien civilization they might find. They find a cave and there they meet another unicorn morph of Gia's species, called Yuon. Yuon teaches Gia to talk telepathically and wants Gia to go with her, but Ines has been Gia's only friend for their entire lives and chooses to stay and help find Clind instead. Following up on a lead from Jeris, Ines heads to Soldat, the most powerful military planet in the system. Ines has kept waiting ages to see the Emperor Zero, who is more interested in entertaining his harem than attending to duties. It seems like a waste of their time, but then who turns up again? But Jeris. Jeris reveals the story of how she gained psi powers, and how she loathes everyone. Lagona, Galdria, and neighbouring star Quilty. She hates them all. She's got one hell of a lot of baggage, this woman. She doesn't outright say, but it looks like she's intimidating Zero to leverage his military. Then it's off to Uranus. Yep, Uranus. Centre of the Federation, which is where Clind studied and developed meta-chiritanium. Ines visits head of the Galactic Federation Neomic, who is worried about Clind's disappearance, given the top secret stuff he was working on. This could be dangerous if it gets out. He mentions that Jeris is a wanted space pirate, and Ines comes out with it and says she thinks Jeris kidnapped Clind. Ines begs Neomic to open the way to Nibiru, so she can visit the Shrine Maiden there, who is capable of drawing out her psi abilities. Yes, it's a bit convenient, but Ines does need to grow to being as strong as Jeris if she's going to defeat her. And so we end part 1 of this talk through. I hope this has made some kind of sense so far. I know I'm kind of lost in the Deus Ex Machinas and the girl-on-girl action, but I hope to see you for part 2 for the exciting conclusion.